Let's be real. Your online reputation isn't just about what other people are saying about you. It's the story you are telling about yourself. Every single post, every comment, every interaction, it's all part of that story. So today, we're going to dive into how you can take control of that narrative and build a digital presence that really, truly connects with people. So let's start with a real gut check question just for you. Does the person you are online actually feel like the person you are when you're offline? For so many of us, there's a disconnect, right? We can call this the authenticity gap. And honestly, that's where so much of the stress and frustration of being online really comes from. And why does that gap even exist? Well, a lot of the time, it's because we just drift. We get caught up in the fast-moving current of the internet. We post something just as a reaction. We jump on a trend without really thinking if it's us. Or we shrink ourselves down to try and please the mysterious algorithm. That reactive mode, it completely disconnects us from our own voice. And that, in turn, disconnects us from the very people we're trying to reach. Okay, so how do we fix this whole mess? Well, the answer isn't about building a better, shinier mask to wear online. No way. It's about starting from the inside out. It all begins with your values. Think of them as your internal compass that's going to guide every single thing you do online. But when we talk about core values, what does that even mean, really? Think of them as your non-negotiables. They're the principles that guide you even when nobody's watching. They are the absolute bedrock of an authentic and trustworthy online presence. So what could these look like for you? Maybe it's integrity, making sure that everything you post is honest and true. Or maybe it's joy, a real commitment to bringing positivity into your corner of the internet. Or it could be service, where your whole focus is on helping your audience. A fantastic place to start is just to pick 3 to 5 of these that really genuinely feel like you. And this is such a perfect way to think about it. Your values, they are the fuel. They're the source of energy that powers everything else. Your content, your voice, the way you engage with people. Without that solid foundation, your online presence is just, well, it's just an empty shell. All right, so once you've got that solid foundation of values, what's next? Well, now it's time to translate all that internal stuff into your external expression, into your authentic voice, and of course, the content you create. You know, this really gets to the heart of it, authenticity. It isn't just about being real in some kind of messy, anything goes way. It's really about consistency. It's like you're weaving together different threads, your message, your visuals, your actions, into one strong, coherent braid. When all those pieces line up with your core values, that's when people start to recognize you and, more importantly, trust you. So for a really practical way to think about this, let's talk about the 80-20 rule. The idea is that 80% of your content, the vast majority, should be all about giving pure value. You're educating, you're inspiring, or you're entertaining. Only that little 20% slice is for promotion. This balance is so key because it ensures you're building a real relationship, not just a list of customers. And that brings us to a really important shift in how we think about all this. You're not just here to broadcast a message, right? You're here to build a community. And you can't do that by just posting. You have to engage. What we're talking about here is proactive engagement. This isn't just passively waiting for comments to roll in. It's a deliberate practice. You're intentionally listening, you're responding thoughtfully, and you're actively nurturing those relationships. It is the single biggest difference between having an audience that just watches and building a community that actually participates. And I know, that can sound like a lot of work, but it really doesn't have to be overwhelming. Look at this simple rhythm you could try each week. You share a useful tip, you ask a great question to get people talking, you share a little personal story, and this last one is huge. You celebrate someone else's win. This kind of rhythm turns engagement from a chore into a really meaningful way to connect. But let's be honest, not all engagement is going to be positive, right? But here's the thing. Even negative feedback, or even a full-blown crisis, can be an opportunity. Seriously, when you learn to see feedback as just data for growth, you become pretty much unshakable. Okay, so when a crisis hits, what's our first impulse? Usually, it's to panic. But having a plan, that changes everything. It brings clarity. This shows you the exact steps. The moment something happens, don't hide. First, get the facts. Then, assess what's really going on. From there, you control the narrative, be the source of truth, and only then do craft your detailed message. The goal is to respond with intention, not just react out of fear. So what does a good, solid response actually sound like?
Well, here's a fantastic, simple script you can literally use. It's calm, it's helpful, and this is key, it moves the conversation to a private channel. This de escalates the public conflict and shows everyone you're there to solve the problem, not to win an argument online.
So let's just break it down super simple. Here are the big do's and don'ts. Absolutely do acknowledge how they're feeling. Do offer a solution or a path forward. And always, always thank them. What you absolutely don't do is argue or get defensive. Don't blame them, and please, don't just ignore the comment. Silence is almost always read as guilt. As we start to wrap things up, I want you to hold on to this idea because it's so powerful. Your digital presence is so much more than just a profile or a single post or a review. Think about it like this. It is your legacy in motion. Every single thing you do contributes to it. Look, if you only remember one thing from all this, please let it be this. It's time to shift your goal. Stop chasing virality and start chasing integrity. Stop optimizing for likes and start optimizing for trust. Because at the end of the day, trust is the one currency that will never, ever lose its value. Ultimately, you have all the tools you need to build a digital presence that feels right, that's authentic, and that actually works. Your story absolutely matters. So the only question left is, how are you going to choose to tell it?